I picked up some lube, the wife's at work. I guess I'm doing it by myself today on Whiskey and Rides. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Justin. It was supposed to be a beautiful weekend in sunny southern Alberta. Unfortunately, Mother Nature had other plans. It's a little cold, gloomy, overcast. We're probably getting some rain today. That's okay. Thought we'd take the opportunity to get my spring oil change done on the 06 Street Glide. Gonna walk you through real quick how I do it. I'm not saying it's the right way to do it. I'm definitely not a mechanic, but I've pulled a few wrenches and changed oil on my bikes a few times. So let's get at her. All right, so I got everything laid out that I'm gonna need for the oil change today. First thing, obviously, I got some paper towel, help clean up any messes, my rubber gloves, my channel lock pliers because I broke my filter wrench a couple of years back and it's been too cheap to replace it. These actually seem to work just fine. 5/8 socket on a drive ratchet for the oil plug. I've got my funnel, my brake clean, and my Harley Davidson Screaming Eagle synthetic oil, and my Harley Davidson filter. Yes, I know everybody has an opinion on oil, filter. You know what? Use what works for you. If you like another brand, cheaper, better, faster, stronger, whatever, go ahead and use it. That's what I've been using for years and it seems to have worked out all right. And the last thing I do on my oil changes, not everybody does, but this little O-ring here, that's the O-ring for on the oil plug. I replace mine every time I do an oil change, but up to you. For an extra $1.50, I figured it makes sense. Anyway, let's get to it. All right, so we're underneath the bike here. The first thing you need to do is locate your oil drain plug. There's a couple plugs under here. So this one over here on the far left side of the oil pan on the front is the one we're going to be pulling. Do not pull the one with the Allen wrench plug here. There is also another plug back here somewhere. There it is. For your transmission oil, if you're doing the transmission, do there. But if you're just doing your engine oil, we're going to pull this plug. So let's get at it. All right, so we got that plug loose, just loosening by hand now. And I've got my oil tub underneath there. And there she goes. Now that we got the oil draining, I like to take out the oil fill cap there. That's going to let the oil drain a little faster underneath. And yeah, so we'll let that do its thing. All right, well that's draining. One thing I always do is have a look at the drain plug, look at that magnet on top, see if there's any metal filings or anything like that. Don't see anything that's to be concerning, so we're going to get that cleaned up, replace that little guy at the bottom there, and get her back in. All right, well it looks like we're pretty much done draining here. The clean oil that I put through seems to be just about finished running through. So going to get this plug put back in and move on to the filter. Torque spec on this, I think the manual says is about 20 pounds. We're just going to do it good and tight because, well, tight is tight. And the last thing I like to do with the plug, just give it a little spritz with some brake clean, make sure we get any of the oil off of there. All right, now we've moved up front. We're going to get this oil filter off. Can be a bit of a pain in the ass depending on how tight it's on, but we'll go ahead, pull this off, get her draining. I've got my oil pan under there so we don't make a mess on the floor. So we got that filter off. One thing I always like to really inspect closely is the filter housing here. Make sure the old gasket is not on there. It makes a hell of a mess if it's left on. So I'm going to go ahead, get this new filter on. We'll get the bike full of oil and we'll get her going. Now that we got that filter on, I'd like to give this a real good spray with some brake clean. Try to get any of that excess soil out of there. So, time to fill her up. Spec calls for about 3.3 liters, so we'll start dumping this in. So we got about 3.3 liters of oil in there. Gonna fire her up, check for any leaks, and do any top ups we have to do. Well, there we have have it. Job done, fresh oil for the season. We're ready to ride. It's just about time for me to get some lunch, but if you haven't done so yet, go ahead, like and subscribe. Appreciate the support, and we'll see you next time on Whiskey and Ride.